Health and hearty greetings, most esteemed televiewers of Divine Mercy, radio and television of the Diocese of Buea. Welcome again to another edition of You and the Law, presented to you by me, your host, Reverend Father Barrister Emil Tanka. Again, we are here with Barrister William. Barrister, you are welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Council.
Okay. I'm happy to be here again.
Okay, thank you. In the last, or in the two previous consecutive edition of You and the Law, we have been talking on marriage. We have been talking on marriage, the capacity for somebody to get married, and the recognized marriage in the Cameroonian law, the customary marriage, and the civil marriage. We have been making a lot of explanations there, and then also we also encourage Christians that they should also get married in their various churches, especially the Catholic Christians, that they should, after the customary marriage, the civil marriage, they should also get married in the Catholic Church. Once again, we welcome you, and today we are talking on something different, although it is part of marriage. The child. We are going to look at the child. And sometimes we hear of these two words, legitimate children, illegitimate children. And talking with the chief of the protection, Madame Constance Lombe Ajang, I went to consult her to looking at the welfare of children. Madame Constance is the chief for promotion and protection of the family, and also the rights of the child, in the delegation, the delegation of women empowerment and the family here in Buea. So I thank her. I met her so that I should get some insight with the way in which they have been treating children, looking at the issue of children when parents do come up, when they have difficulties, taking care of the children, when the father, especially children that are born out of wedlock. Children that are born out of wedlock are children that they were given birth at a time when there was no existence of a marriage, which means the either customary marriage has not been celebrated or the civil marriage has not been celebrated. Then also look at the laws of Cameroon, the laws that governs the protection, especially of the children. There, we also know that Cameroon has ratified certain treaties, which we are also part of it, like the 1948 Convention on Human Rights, so the rights of the children. They also look at the African Charter for the rights and welfare of the child, also looking at the Convention on the Rights of Children ratified by Cameroon January 1993. Then also the Cameroonian law, the Civil Status Registration Ordinance, particularly the law number 81/02 of 29 June 1981. They talk about so many things when it comes to the right of the children. So when we look at the child, we see that the child needs to be recognized. A child needs to have an identity. The child needs to have an identity. And so if a child is born in Cameroon, the child needs to be a Cameroonian. So for a child to be a Cameroonian, it means that that child, the laws do provide that child, either the child was found in Cameroonian soil with no father and mother, that child automatically becomes a Cameroonian. When also a child is born by two parents, or the man and the woman, and the man is a Cameroonian, for example, and the woman is a foreigner from another country, then that child automatically becomes a Cameroonian. But the law also makes provision that that child, 6 weeks before the child attains maturity, we know that for the female, maturity is at the age of 15, and for a male, maturity is at the age of 18, according to the Cameroonian law. So before that child attains the age of maturity, that child can renounce the Cameroonian nationality and takes up the foreign nationality. He is free. But at the time of birth, automatically the child is a Cameroonian. And when the child also is born, whereby one of the parents is not known, then or born by the woman, then that child, if it's a Cameroonian, that child becomes a Cameroonian. So there, that is it when it comes to the nationality of children. And also looking at the other side, we are saying that all children are supposed to have their identity. All children should have their identity, whether born out of wedlock or whether born in a lawful marriage. All children needs to have their identity. Identity means that they should be able to know their parents. They should be able to know their parents. Talking with Madame Lombe Constance Ajang, she says the word illegitimate is gradually that they don't want to hear that word, illegitimate children or bastard children. That it is a no mention in Cameroon. It's no mention in Cameroon because all children, they have the right to live like other children. So in such a way that if they are attacked with illegitimate or bastard children, then they are being isolated and sometimes they suffer psychological trauma. They suffer a lot. So Council William, I will now invite you to elaborate on certain aspects when it comes to children that are born out of wedlock.
Oh, thank you so much, Council. Okay, looking at this aspect of children born out of wedlock, that's illegitimate children, the law, especially the Civil Status Registration Ordinance of 1981, has set up certain rules. Looking at who an illegitimate child is, you can say an illegitimate child is a child who is born out of wedlock. So the Civil Status Registration Ordinance provides that when a child is born out of wedlock, that child, the mention of that father's name may not be done on the birth certificate of that child. That is, the father's name may not be mentioned on the birth certificate except that father recognizes the child or that child becomes legitimated. Legitimated, that is, the parents of that child actually get married after his or her birth. Then that will make the child legitimate. If not so, the father may recognize the child. How is recognition done? Recognition is done pursuant to the Civil Status Registration Ordinance, where there are two ways. Either the father of that child will go to court and institute an action for that child to be recognized as his, or during the birth registration of that child can, the father of that child can make a declaration before the Civil Status Registrar. And that Civil Status Registrar can also will also proceed from there to listen to the mother of the child and get the consent of the mother of the child, and then declare that the child is recognized, and this will also be forwarded to the president of the court of first instance. So the name of the father may not be mentioned in the birth certificate of the child. And then why is it important for a child to be recognized? Why is it important for an illegitimate child to be recognized, to have your name in the birth certificate of your illegitimate child? It is very important because it helps to lay down parental power and custody over that child. You have parental power and custody over that child. The law says that parental power and custody shall be exercised by the mother and the father of a child. That illegitimate child, parental custody shall be shall arise. That is, the people who shall have parental custody over a child shall be the mother and the father of that child, who are so affiliated. That is where affiliation has been established. If the affiliation between that child and the father has been established, then that father too, alongside the mother, will have parental custody over that child. But if the father has not done the rightful recognition, as the name is not mentioned in the birth certificate and whatsoever, or that child has not been legitimated, then parental custody will be with the mother, parental power rather, and then custody of the child would be with the father and the mother as well. The father and the mother over whom affiliation has been determined by law. So if there is disagreement between the father and the mother over who should exercise custody, then it will be that custody of the child on parental power will be on the parent who has the normal custody of that child as per the law, or as the president of the court exercising jurisdiction may determine. One thing I would like to highlight is that a parent can kidnap the child. So this is why it's very important for you to have your child recognized, or you have affiliation with your child, because if as a father of a child you maybe you don't establish this affiliation with your child, and maybe subsequently you get the child from the mother without the consent of the mother who exercises custody over that child, you may be charged for kidnap, because for you to get a child from the person who exercises custody over that child, you know the consent of that person. So a father may be charged for kidnap. But as a mother, by giving birth to a child, that natural process of birth is equivalent to recognition of the child, and that's what the law says. So you, as the father of an illegitimate child, you need to take further steps to establish this affiliation between you and the child by either recognition or legitimization.
Okay, thank you very much, Counsel, for that beautiful one there. You know, it is also known, the law makes it known to us that in filling the birth certificate of the child, it should never be mentioned that the parent or the father is unknown. It should not be mentioned there. If the father is not known, then it should be blank. There should not be any name there. Or also, if sometimes the parents, they do judge that maybe the mother of the children may judge that, okay, I want to write the name of my father in the place of the father, of the biological father of the children. It is also wrong. You know, especially the social welfare, they encourage the mothers not to do that, because if they do that, it may in future turn as incest. Incest means that the woman or the mother of the child had intercourse with with her own biological father, then they gave birth to this child, and that is the reason why the name there is the name of the father of the girl as father of the child, and the mother is the mother already mentioned there, who is known like the mother who have intercourse with his own father, biological father, to give birth to that child. So it should not be like that. It should be blank. It should be blank. It should not fill anything in that particular space until the recognition is made. And so how can legitimacy be proven in court? You know, pursuant to the Cameroonian law of 1981, that the first thing is that they should have been at the time of the birth of the child an existing marriage between the father, between the man and the woman. That already proves, as counsel already pointed out there, by natural birth, it already proves that the father and the mother, they are the child, they are the parents of that child by the existing marriage before the birth of that child. And then also the marriage, either customary marriage or civil marriage, it's also recognized that the child is not born out of wedlock. Then also the wife has to be the mother. The wife has to be the wife of that man, has to be the mother of the child. And as counsel already pointed it out there, that the mother by giving birth, she does not need to prove anything. She does not need to prove anything that she's the mother. Just by the very fact of giving birth, then she is the biological mother. But now we are talking about the law of legitimacy, that the wife who is mentioned in the document, the wife who is mentioned in the marriage certificate, should be the mother of that child. Then also the presumed father, because father-in-law is always known as presumed, because the person who gave birth naturally is the mother. So the presumed father of the child should be the husband of the woman, should be the husband of the mother of that child, should be the husband of the mother of that child. So all these have to be proven. And then also when it comes to the other documents that are required to prove legitimacy have to be first of all, you are supposed to have the original and photocopy of the birth certificate of the child. Original and photocopy of the birth certificate of the child to prove legitimacy. That's what we'll talk about here. So we also have to have the original and photocopy of marriage certificate of the parents of that child. These are the documents required to prove legitimacy. And also a copy of the identity card of the husband and the wife has to be in place. Then also a copy of the mother's consent. The mother has to write a consent to show that the man that is in the marriage certificate is the father of the child. Is the father of the child. And so, Council will talk about children. We must understand that children have their rights. It is violation of the right of the children or of a child not to give the child the legal recognition. It's a violation of the right of the children, because as the conventions they rightly point out that all the children, they deserve the right to proper parentage, to be taken care of by their parents. So I would like to encourage you, all televiewers, that what maybe we have suffered, if you have suffered maybe from a home that is divided, you should not allow your children to suffer like that. You should not allow that to happen to your children. And what we have enjoyed, maybe if you have enjoyed being in a giving birth out of wedlock, or giving birth when your parents are already married, you have enjoyed that relationship, you have enjoyed it, you have been in a family where the man, your father and your mother were together and they gave birth to you and they were legally married and they took proper care of you. You should also offer that same treatment to your children and not suffer them. So we are here to encourage you, if you have not recognized your child, to make sure that you do this legal recognition so that your child have the privilege to enjoy, because the Lord will say that the child first of all should enjoy protection from the natural parents. They have that right to enjoy that protection from the natural parents. So Council, there are other rights when it comes to the child, having a protection, being with the parents. You have to grow. A child has a right to grow the normal way, in such a way that the child may not be a laughing stock in school, because that also psychologically affects the child. So Council, what do you have to say if it comes to parents, maybe the father? Because we quite know most often it's the father. The father, they don't want to recognize their children. They don't want to legally recognize their children. They're going around, playing around, and the women are there suffering with these children. So what law is put in place to protect these children?
Oh, thank you once more, Council. Laws have been put in place to protect the right of children, inclusive of illegitimate children. So where maybe the father of a child refuses to send the child to school, that's a criminal behavior and can earn you an imprisonment term. Because under a penal code, if you have the means of educating your child or sending your child to school and you refuse to do so, you may be imprisoned. So, as Council, Reverend Father has rightly noted, a child has basic rights. The right to education, which I have highlighted, that if you, as the parent of that child, whether that child is illegitimate or not, refuse to educate this child, you may earn an imprisonment term as a result of that. So, you also have other rights, as he has noted, the right to good health. It's bound. It's your duty to make sure that your child, irrespective of whether that child is illegitimate, should enjoy good health. So if you put this all together, good health, the right of the child to shelter, good health, accommodation, education, you see that a breach of these rights might earn you an imprisonment term, because as a parent of a child, it is your responsibility to cater for that child and secure a better future for that child. So I think that is it.
Thank you very much. Council, as you know, a child without a name is proper violation of the child's right, because a child has a right to name, and a child has a right to answer the name of his father. The child has that right. So if the father of the child has not recognized or is refusing to recognize this right of the child, a child has a right to identity, which means that a child needs to know that my father is coming from this particular village and I am coming from this particular area. You know, those are all rights of the child, which if they are not recognized, then it is proper violation of the right of the child. I should know that. And it is also sinful even in the eyes of God.
Yes, I think that's true. He has rightly noted that there is this aspect of natural parentage, which, if you look at section 72 to be precise of our civil status registration ordinance, it says that natural parentage can only arise as a result of the existence of blood relations between a father and a child. So your child has a right to know where he is coming from. The father, that's the biological father of the child. It's a right too of the child. That is why such cultural practices where, as father has rightly noted, where the girl or the lady or the mother of the child will say, since this man has not paid my bride price or whatsoever, then my father is going to be the father of this child. That is also criminal behavior. That's cloud of parentage, and pursuant to section 341 of the penal code, you might be imprisoned from 5 to 10 years if you deny your child the evidence of his or her true parentage. So a child has a right to know the parent, the true parents of that child, and irrespective of whatsoever, irrespective of whether it's a legitimate child, it is a very wrong and even a criminal behavior for you to deprive the child of the evidence of his or her true parentage.
Thank you very much, counsel. You know, a child should know his roots. A child should know his roots. It is his right. A child should know his roots. A child should know his father. It should be that these parents nowadays, especially the father, we have many of those cases. Even in the parish, sometimes we have them where the father of the child has given birth and he does not want to recognize what is happening, that you will give birth to a child and you don't want to recognize, you don't want to give anything for the sustenance of the child, and sometimes you are there doing well. Counsel, I think that it is a criminal, as you rightly put it out there, it's a criminal behavior, and those parents, especially the fathers, they deserve to be sanctioned.
Yes, they deserve.
Yes.
if you have the father of your child refuses to educate the child, you can always take steps. You can institute a criminal action. Yes. You can go to the social welfare. There are a lot of things you can do. Yes. So a child has the right to this maintenance and care. Yes. The child has the right to maintenance and care.
Yes. So sometimes when they are calling for the man maybe to take care of the child, the man in his senses is always thinking of the woman, that maybe he has to, the woman has to pay allegiance to him first before he takes care of the child. And so if the woman does not want to pay allegiance to him, maybe if the woman is with another man, again we come to this other one, whereby a man, he has his child. I'll talk about natural parentage. This man has his child with his girl or with a woman. Mm-hmm. Then this woman gets married legally to another man. Yes, this woman gets married legally to another man. So what becomes of that child? That child in that home?
Yes, that child still remains the child of the biological father.
Yes.
Natural parentage, as I've highlighted, can only arise from this blood relation between the father and the child. It doesn't matter whether you are married to a new man or whatsoever. It is a criminal behavior to deprive a child of the evidence of his or her true parentage, and that can earn you a 5 to 10 years imprisonment term. Yes. So it's a criminal behavior. You have to guarantee the child the right to know who his or her father is.
Thank you very much, counsel. And I think you rightly pointed out that some parents, a parent can kidnap the child.
A parent can kidnap
can kidnap the child. If the parent is not taking care of the child, then at one time, and it has been happening, at one time they may arrange so that they go to school and pick up the child and run away with the child. Yes. He can be sued for kidnapping. He can be prosecuted for that particular act. So, counsel, we are here to encourage the men, especially. We have many of the women out there with their children, single ladies. They are there with their children and the men have run away. and they don't want to recognize. They are only moving on with other women and making children and going ahead. It's just like if you look at the animal world, that's what is happening. Look at the pigs, look at the goats, look at what is happening. Just making children and going on, making children and not recognizing. So if you are not recognizing these children, you are also like an animal. Yes, you are just going on and on, giving birth to children without recognizing and allowing those the children with their mothers. So once more, Council, I think that it has been wonderful having you again here on this particular program. So when it comes to the bringing or the life of the child, what do you have, especially because now we are on holidays, what do you have to tell the parents, especially parents now, as we have been talking about? So we are just put up things together. Yes.
Okay, the life of the child, children are looked upon as we don't have to, like Father has rightly noted, we don't have to make a distinction between an illegitimate and an illegitimate child insofar as the responsibilities of parents are concerned. So even now that we have these children with us, whether the child is with you or with the mother or somewhere else, you have this responsibility as the father and even as the mother to take care of your child. You have the responsibility to ensure that the child is properly taken care of. The child has the basic rights being respected, and so on. So you also have this duty as the father to ensure that even as school is about to resume, you prepare your child for school alongside the legitimate children. So no distinction should be made. No distinction should be made insofar as children are concerned, whether legitimate, illegitimate, or adopted. So no distinction should be drawn between these children.
Thank you very much. Your children are your children. Consider all of them and treat all of them the same. Consider all of them and treat all of them the same. So we're also encouraging, especially those the single women, out there that schools will soon resume. They should look for the biological father of these children. They should look for the biological father of these children and make sure they seize the cord. They make sure they seize the cord with action and take action against them, so that they should do what is they are supposed to do. They should not violate the right of these children. Once more, thank you very much, all of you, for being there, the televiewers of Divine Mercy Radio and Television. Once more, thank you very much. We thank the workers here in the Divine Mercy Radio and Television, the workers who are there, and we also thank all those, especially those who are promoting this particular channel in one way or another. Thank you all. We also thank the Bishop, the proprietor of the Diocese of Buea, Bishop Michael Bibi. We are greeting him that he's doing well, and that he should keep it up. Thank you very much, and may God bless you all. Thank you.